Hey everybody, it's Jill with Reading in the Rock, and welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Today is going to be kind of a little two-parter. The first part is going to be a rapid-fire Q&A from some of my Instagram followers. And the second part, the main part, is going to be book recommendations by Enneagram type. So let's get started. All right, let's go with a little rapid fire Q&A from some Instagram followers. Do I prefer series or standalone? I'd have to say standalone on that, like a series now and then, but I lean towards standalones. My preferred format, hard copy, digital, audio. I only read digital if it's an ARC or if it's something I got from Libby because I just couldn't wait on a physical copy to buy her from the library. Audiobooks have been kind of the standout star of my year. I listen to them while I'm doing anything, chores, walks, driving. I've got an audiobook in. Typically, it has to be something a little more fast-paced to keep my attention, but I do love audiobooks. If I could sit down with any author, living or dead, for a meal, who would it be and why? I'm going to cheat. I'm going to say the Green Brothers. Get a 2-for-1 special. I just would love to pick their brains. They're both so different from each other, but I just love them both, and I think we could have some really interesting conversations. Ideal bookish weekend. I'm going to actually wrap this one up with another question about where are my favorite bookstores in Little Rock, because they're going to be featured in my ideal weekend, of course. First, I would wake up, have a cup of coffee, slow start, read a chapter or two of my favorite, or current, not favorite, my current book, and have a cup of coffee. It would be fall, because if you live in the South right now, you know this heat is definitely not ideal in any way. After that, I would plug in an audiobook and head out on a walk with my dog and get some audiobook taken care of. Come home, switch gears, hit my 2 favorite bookstores. Hopefully my friends at Paper Hearts would be having a pop-up and I could go visit them, and then make a quick run to Wordsworth. And there are plenty of good coffee shops around that area as well where I'd love to sit and read. So after some books and some coffee, come home and take a nice soaking bubble bath. I have one of those cool things where my book can sit on this little tray, and I would continue there and hopefully finish a book and read until my eyes wouldn't even stay open. Favorite YA book or series? Again, the whole John Green canon. Once again, I'm not straying very far from my usuals, but I actually have started a series and I kind of mentioned them, and I'm going to talk about them in a little bit. I haven't read the second yet, but the start is fantastic. Lobizona. Favorite book series to revisit? I've revisited Harry Potter now and then, usually in the fall, and I also like to revisit Lord of the Rings world every now and then. My favorite bookish item I've purchased or received recently. I wish I had it right here. I got the cutest mug from Emily Cromwell Designs, and if you're not getting your cute bookish shirts from Pippi Post, you're doing it wrong. If you watch back a couple videos, there's one that's like a Jane Austen book stack. That's from her, and that's my favorite like apparel item. My favorite bookmark. Yay, get to get out the bookmark jar. Okay, so super quick. I love otters. Favorite animal, otters. So once again, Emily Cromwell. How cute are these little otters? Favorite magnetic. And my favorite physical is my girl, Ruth. Got this at a really cool local bookstore. It's wooden, which is super cool. Bang Up Betty here in Little Rock. And if you ever stop by, she has tons of really cool historical women bookmarks. Love that. Okay, what's my favorite fantasy series? Like go-to is Lord of the Rings. I haven't actually read a lot of the big fantasy series that are big right now. I'm in the middle of the Lunar Chronicles, and I'm really enjoying those. So those may wind up being a favorite. I'm really liking those. Favorite arc I've read this year. Actually, my favorite arc is being released today. So happy Pup Day to Nothing But the Truth by Holly James. I'm going to be posting a review of that one later on my Instagram today. Comfort read and food. Comfort read, House in the Cerulean Sea, Old Faithful right there. Like, literally, sometimes I just open it up because it just makes me happy. Favorite comfort food. If it is a combination of cheese and marinara sauce, I'm there for it. Whatever capacity it comes in. Let's see here. Favorite book ever if I had to choose. It's really hard to not say Cerulean Sea. Like, really hard to not say. So I'm not going to. That's the one. My like classic go-to favorite is Pride and Prejudice. I know. Super original answer. Nobody thinks that's their favorite. Go-to genre in a slump. That's a great question. Thrillers. I don't like thrillers normally. I'm a literary fiction girl. But if I'm in a slump, literary fiction is not going to move fast enough to get me out of it. So a thriller, like a good edge of your seat thriller, will get me out of a slump. Now this one is my sister's question. I know you don't love romance, but what's your favorite romance book? Evie Drake Starts Over. It's just smart. It's mature. It makes sense. Evie, and I just got this weekend Linda's other book, so I can't wait to start it. Okay. Auto by authors. Judging by the fact that TJ Klune's book doesn't come out until March, and yet I've already pre-ordered it, I would call it TJ Klune. And John Green. Once again, I'm not straying very much from my answers. A girl knows what she wants. Favorite TV series? I pretty much keep The Office, New Girl, and Parks and Recreation on a running loop. And my favorite series currently is Ted Lasso. If you're not watching Ted Lasso and you need a little hope for humanity, do yourself a favor and watch Ted Lasso. And that's going to be it for my rapid fire Q&A. Stay tuned because we're going to do Enneagram. There's sirens going on. Sorry. Very distracted. I'm going to make book recommendations based on your Enneagram type. So stay tuned for that. So the Enneagram, if you don't know, is a, at its base, it's like a personality inventory, but it's primarily about your motivation. So I'm going to be posting the graphics I'm using here on Instagram, so I'm not going to go too far into those. But let's start with our friend, the Enneagram 1, the Reformer. My book rec for you is going to be one I've already mentioned, Lobizona. Reformers, all about making the world a better place, all about making changes, and this book right here is all about a revolution. Okay, my friends who are type 2s, my recommendation for The Helper is nothing to see here. The main character in this book winds up finding the helper within herself to help kids that no one else seems to be able to help. So she puts her hands to work and gets things done for these kids. Nothing to see here. My friends, the 3s. Now, this is kind of like, I had a couple I could have picked for this. My 3s are the Achievers. I went with An Absolutely Remarkable Thing because I think it has to do, like, at its core with achieving. And the main character, April, has to kind of balance achievement and relationship through a huge chunk of this book. So, and several high achieving characters who have to kind of handle the weight of being an achiever as well. So I think that would be really relatable to a 3. My friends, the 4s. We love unpredictability, authenticity, and that's why my pick, I've loaned this copy out, would be A Touch of Jen. Now, let me just tell you this. This book is wild, and I give you just a blanket content warning for, message me if you want to read this, because I'm not going to spoil it if you don't need the trigger warnings. A Touch of Jen is absolutely unique, and a 4 is constantly seeking something that is unique and authentic. And also there's like a part of the storyline that's kind of about like where do our authenticity lines start and end in the age of social media, which I feel like is something an Enneagram 4 is consistently at war with. I'm a 4, so Touch of Jen's kind of one that spoke to me about that. All right, Enneagram 5. Now, I didn't pick a nonfiction because an Instagram follower who I talked to was talking about how increasing your knowledge base doesn't necessarily just mean nonfiction. So I picked a book that I'm only about halfway through because I want to be in the mood for it. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. If you're a 5, this is going to give you enough to process and analyze that it's going to be an enjoyable fiction. I know 5s can enjoy learning about a ton of things across a ton of different genres, but this to me felt like something that a 5 would hang on to. There's a lot to like analyze about society. There are a lot of scientific elements, so probably would hit a large range of 5s. My friends, the 6s. I have a lot of the people I love in my life are 6s. The 6 is the loyalist, but also the 6 likes to stick to what they know. Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine, is about someone who has to break their norm, which for a 6 is going to be relatable because honestly, what strikes up the anxiety more than having to make big changes? So Eleanor would be my choice for a 6. Okay. The 7, The Enthusiast. Now, this book was a little stretch for me on this one, but I really liked it because it's all about stretching out of your comfort zone, doing something big, and that would be less. I don't think I've recommended that here before, but for the Enneagram 7, the Enthusiast, this is going to be a lot of big adventures, a lot of travel. The dialogue in this book is big and fast and witty. So I think an enthusiast, both in style and in content, is going to enjoy less. Okay, my friends, the 8s. I listened to the audiobook of this. 8s are the challengers. And challengers are all about not just challenging themselves, but just challenges in general to society. And that would have to be such a fun age. I think in this book, we're challenging preconceived notion. I think you'll kind of see the unhealthy side of an 8 in one of the main characters here, who is challenging herself and pushing herself in her career at the sake of someone else. But I think an 8 is going to enjoy such a fun age because it's more about like societal challenge and what can you do in the face of injustice. And last but not least, my friends, the Peacemakers, the 9s. And my answer for this is going to be a new release that's coming out today. And that is Nothing But the Truth by Holly James. The entire reason I picked this book is because the entire thing is about a girl who can no longer give little white lies to make people comfortable. And she has to literally be completely 100% honest. She is physically incapable of lying, and finds that she disturbs the peace a lot, which is going to be something that hopefully empowers an Enneagram 9 and makes them think that sometimes it's not all about keeping the peace. Sometimes it is about speaking your mind and standing up for things that you believe in. So that is my pick for the Enneagram 9. Thanks so much for listening to my long-windedness today. I look forward so much to giving you one more video on Thursday, and then I'm off for a week because I'm going on vacation. So I'll see you again Thursday. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, and head over to my Instagram, and we will see you on Thursday. Thank you. Bye.